All right, man, we're back. We're rebooted. Make sure this is going on correctly. Damn, yeah, no, I take it back, man. It's actually cold as hell. And my vision is kind of deteriorating, man. The far vision is deteriorating, so whatever. I guess that's what comes with age, guys. It comes with age. Anyways, so let's talk about Canelo. My bad, I didn't even do like a proper introduction, man. Welcome to El Cuerpo Boxing, to the body. Just strolling the hood, the forest, getting some nice fresh air in this park. It's a nice day. It's a lot of good fresh air, man. It's important, man. Get some proper oxygen into your lungs. And don't get sick, y'all. It's cold season. Don't get sick, guys. Take care of yourselves. So Canelo returning in September. Who's he gonna fight, right? That's the talk. That's the play. We know that May has been taken by Zurdo Ramirez and David Benavidez. By the way, here's one thing I want you guys to focus on, man, because I've been waiting to see what platform it's going to be on. We don't really know yet. And how do I know that? Because, guys, I've seen Zurdo and I've seen Benavidez post links or post images of ghetto-ass banners, man. Like, they don't look professionally made. All right? So think about that for a second. Usually the protocol, when you're going to promote something official, it has proper artwork. And just the consistency from Zurdo's side, I guess Golden Boy, and David's side, I guess the PBC affiliates in Prime, like they're making some ghetto-ass banners, man. I don't know what's up with that. So when you go on BoxRec, even on BoxRec, the fight's not official yet. So just take that in consideration. I'm wondering right now what's going on between the bidding war. I don't even know if it's a bidding at all, if there's any bidding going on, but ideally we would want this on the zone, right? For those that have the Zone Ultimate package, hey, you get a nice hookup with that pay-per-view fight, right? On the house. That's what's got to happen, guys. So what's going on here? What's going on here, guys? If you think about the Zone package, what it was like $500 or $450, if you were to buy the premium price of this fight, let's say $80 on a different platform, well, that's already like 1/5 of what you would pay for the Zone Ultimate package. Just put that in consideration. So they should just have it on the Zone regardless. And with that being said, I'm just curious why this fight hasn't reached the platform yet. Go on BoxRec, it's not available, guys. Zurdo versus David Benavidez. So anyways, that's May, right? That's May. But what about Canelo? Who's Canelo gonna fight then in September? I had done a video before, guys. I think, man, you know he badass? His ass should fight McKillian, the new WBC cruiser champion that had dethroned Badu Jack finally. I've been telling cats somebody should have taken Badu's belt a long time ago. And McKillian did it with the rematch. I had McKillian winning the first fight. And so I guess, to McKillian's credit, he got the belt rightfully so the second time around. But guys, I see they're talking about Billy. They're talking about Shiraz. Shiraz is not bad. Yeah. And Billy, as a matter of fact, I think Shiraz and Pacheco are going to fight, right? So those two are held up for the time being. Who else? Resendiz, maybe? Who else, guys? Let's see. Resendiz and Billy. Lester Martinez, right? That's another possible one. But guys, for me, let me do a quick shout out to Mr. Mustafa. Mustafa, he says, Orchid now it's Smite, and this is my father. What is your name? Is TX? Anlamada Mustafa Bey. Mustafa's asking a question, but I don't know what he's saying. Yo, Mustafa, you can yaz in English or Turkish, I guess. Try and make out what it says. Where was I, guys? Oh, yeah, so if everybody's downplaying Canelo right now, meaning like he's already hit his peak, I don't know, man. This is like, for me, if we want to go business-oriented and you want to manage, I guess, Canelo's career properly, because right now, man, I don't know if you guys noticed, and I said this before, right now there's a splurge, guys. There's a splurge of no boxing, no life videos everywhere around the net. Like every gym wants to post no boxing, no life gear. Whether it be by design, who cares? But a lot of gym rats, a lot of boxers are rocking that gear, man. So I don't know why the hell that it skyrocketed that way. I mean, shout out to them for doing that. But what does that mean, guys? How do we interpret that? It means that Canelo's value, I guess Reynoso, that world of boxing prestige has risen high. So anything they do here forward, they're in a win-win situation. Let me read some quick stuff here. Abdullah Bey, he says, Assalamu alaikum. Boxeo Atómico se esquerroya el cuerpo. Shout out to Copy Atómico. Go ahead and subscribe to Boxeo Atómico. We cover boxing the right way. Go ahead and subscribe to him, please. Bulbous says, what's up, brother? He says, Atómico, dímelo. Yeah, shout out to Bulbous. Bulbous Bouffant. He says, Abdullah Bey says, I am from Turkey. Yeah, Turk. Yeah, most of you guys know. Those that, yeah, anyways. Canelo Alvarez, guys. I don't know. Maybe Atómico agrees with me. Sometimes I like it when Atómico tries to agree with me, because me and him share a lot of similar views, even like Puro Sur, maybe even El Profesor. Go ahead and sub to El Profesor del Boxeo. It's a really good channel. It's for the elites. But for me, man, on paper, man, let's go for the Cruiserweight Championship already. That's what I think, Atómico. I think Canelo at this point, he's what's the saying, guys? You're damned if you do, right? You're damned if you don't. Yeah, if you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If I'm thinking that correctly. So, for me, guys, McKillian's way bigger than Canelo anyways. For me, that's what we call a reto, a challenge. Now, here's the fans say, well, why should Canelo fight McKillian for the Cruiserweight belt? Because he's ducking Shiraz or Mbili or Resendiz or whatever. For me, guys, straight up, to fight McKillian is more dangerous than those guys. Way more dangerous. I mean, put it this way. Guys are already saying that Canelo's on a down slope, right? Like he's faded. He ain't the Canelo that he was before, which is possibly true, right? So therefore, that doesn't make the fight with McKillian any easier, guys. I don't know. For me, I've always tried to keep it transparent in the world of men, man. The world of men. Like for me, to fight a bigger guy is more of a challenge in general, right? I think most of you would agree. So I guess what I'm getting at is why wouldn't Mbili or let's say Resendiz or whoever at 168 that's not gonna go and call out McKillian for his Cruiserweight belt? Let's see if you guys got the bolas for that. The only guy that's stepping it up right now that he had learned his mistakes and he learned different options was David Benavidez. So just shout out to David, because David realized that the whole propaganda to call out Canelo's name just never happened on the PBC side of things. He learned that, and I think he was humbled. But good for Benavidez. Now he's on a different path, guys. Benavidez not thinking a cruiserweight and he's thinking a heavyweight. The Canelo theme, that's old. It's dead. Let that be for a lot of boxers that are going to learn in the future, become stars. Sometimes clout chasing another star's name can work. It might work, but you got to have a proper management that's going to help you do that. It's not Benavidez' fault. He just didn't have the proper people to do it. He needed Latinos. Benavidez needed proper raza management to help maybe make that fight. Instead of talking all that smack didn't get you the fight, man. Regardless if you think Canelo would have fought him or not, it's not how you do it. And then, let's see, Bulbous says, I think Cruiserweight is too much for Canelo. I mean, you got to know your advantages, guys, because look at Pacquiao. Pacquiao is probably the best example of this modern era, that he can go up in weight, his size differential, the speed, the power, he could hold it up with the big guys. Even a faded Pacquiao, he was still game. And that's what I see Canelo right now. Let's just keep it consistent. Pacquiao, a lot of fans, they thought that fighting Jeff Horn was a stupid idea, right? A lot of people were picking Jeff Horn, for picking Pacquiao. And Pacquiao, in my opinion, won that fight, right? But think of it like that, guys. It could be like a Pacquiao-Horn situation. And it might start like a new narrative, a new mix of ideas. Like, damn, at least Canelo went up to Cruiserweight because they failed to fight Makabu once upon a time. I don't know why that didn't happen. Maybe you guys might know, but we do know that after Canelo became undisputed champion, he had called out Makabu, Reynoso, went to petition for the Cruiserweight title. That was badass at that time. But a lot of fans, again, downplaying because a lot of these guys don't really do the sport themselves, man. So any general bloke, if you put like Canelo's size compared to a Makabu, those guys are different in size, guys. They're different in size. I don't know. Maybe sometimes I'm speaking either too realistic or out of context, but let's just say most guys in sport, in combat fighting, if it's in boxing, they ain't gonna make fights with that size of that kind of size disparity. It's not common. And I'm not talking about draining, guys. I'm not talking about draining at all. Because Makabu wouldn't be drained to make cruiser. And Canelo obviously has to cut to make cruiser. So it's different variables, man. You know what I'm saying? Damn, it's cold as hell. So, I don't know. And then, of course, let's not think of cruiserweight then. Let's say Canelo fights Shiraz. I mean, as far as the paydays, yeah, that's good, man. Yeah, Turkey will be happy. I guess the Middle Eastern community that are fans of Shiraz, or maybe Europeans that are fans of Shiraz, they may be down for that fight. But to be honest, if you followed the game for so long, man, I guarantee you guys, that if Canelo fights Shiraz, they're going to downplay that fight. They're going to say that Shiraz is just a cherry pick. Just trust me, as much as they want to downplay Canelo, they're still going to downplay Shiraz's chances to beat Canelo. That's just how fans are. Or even like Resendiz, maybe. I don't know. Maybe fans will keep it 100 and say that fight's a 50-50 fight. I don't know. By the way, Resendiz is a champion. So I'm more than sure there will be a theme that if Canelo chooses Resendiz, they're going to say that was a cherry pick. If I'm understanding correctly. I haven't followed who are the champs at 168, guys. I don't know. You guys know? You're right in there. ¿Qué más? Canelo versus Eubank Jr.? No, please no. That fight me da asco. I'm picking Canelo to stop Eubank nasty. But, I mean, that does nothing for Canelo's legacy, guys. It's nice for the money. But I guess maybe if Canelo's in a non-win-win situation, then I guess a fight like that would make sense. But nah, you guys know me. I'm going to keep it 100, guys, because you guys know me. I always say that Crawford needs to come back because he's still got the goods. Crawford can still give us good fights, man. He's older than Canelo, and he's still good, man. So if I'm cheering for Crawford to come back to see better fights of Crawford, I got to keep the same energy for Canelo, right? I want Canelo to have better fights. And for me, and I kid you not, I don't have an ulterior motive in this. For me to go up and fight a McKillian, it's a lot more risky. It's a lot more risky than fighting Mbili or give me another 168 fighter. Ramirez, Pacheco, whatever. Nah, man, McKillian's bigger, man. Put it this way, again, put it like this. How do you fare those guys to beat McKillian? If you guys say, nah, man, McKillian is too big for Mbili. Nah, man, Mbili doesn't have to fight McKillian. Think about why you're saying that, though. Think about why you're saying that. If you come to the conclusion like, damn, you know what? McKillian is too big for 168 guys. Guys, Canelo is a small-ass 160 fighter, man, or 168 fighter. So, again, the challenge makes sense. If Canelo were to go and beat McKillian for the WBC Cruiser, man, all hell's going to break loose. Industry's going to be like, damn, you know what? We didn't think about that. We didn't think about McKillian. And you know what's better, guys? When you see Canelo in with McKillian, the size disparity is going to be like Canelo versus Callum Smith. So when you see that size disparity, right, the eye test, you could be industry or whoever. They'll be like, damn, you know what? Little Nello was able to do that. And then fans are going to ask, damn, you know what? If Canelo could have done it, how come no 168, how come no 175 fighter went and fought McKillian for the cruiser title? You guys know me. I always say this. I said David Benavidez should have taken Badu Jack's strap. Right? Bivol or Better Be, whatever. If the business ain't happening with the trilogy, go up to cruiser. Go steal a belt. I always say this. Rock the yo-yo weights. Bivol could go up and beat McKillian or Badu Jack and come back down to 175. Better Be could go up, come back down. Who cares what fans say? Do your yo-yo weight stuff. And guess what? You know how it's justified? Because they proved it. Bivol, Better Be are undisputed champions at 175. You think they care about fan theory, man? Nah. They don't care about no fan theory about who's, oh, this guy's too big. Nah, that shit's soft talk. It's all soft talk, you know? That's why when you had fans talk about Canelo versus Crawford, or industry, right? The athletes themselves, they respected that matchup out of respect for Crawford taking that challenge and not so much downplaying Canelo or vice versa. So the same thing would be applied if Canelo wouldn't fight McKillian. You know? Now, but the problem is, guys, that McKillian, I believe, is with Don King, if I'm not mistaken. So I think if Canelo were to say, yo, Turkey, I want the WBC cruiser belt. Now, there's a lot of problems, guys, because the WBC situation right now in boxing is so, it's messed up, guys. It's messed up. Like, first of all, Crawford didn't end it right with the WBC and fans. You got all these divided fans saying, oh, no, what Crawford did was good. The WBC is corrupt and blah, blah, blah. Then you get other guys saying, nah, man, Crawford should have known better. He should have paid the fee. So anyways, everybody has mixed opinions on the WBC. Turkey has mixed opinions on the WBC. When Canelo fought William Skoll, they dismissed the WBC strap being shown on TV. So it's a weird situation, guys. So I guess I'll go back. How much would Turkey be willing to give Canelo if Canelo said, you know what, Turkey, I want that strap. I want to be a cruiserweight champion. Give him a bag. Then that means it's up to Don King's and McKillian's world. How are they going to price themselves out? To be honest, I don't think Turkey cares, man. He's not knee deep in it like us. He don't care. His role is to just bring metrics, proper metrics, and bring stars. I think you guys have noticed that lately, Turkey and Canelo, and they're posting a lot of stuff like celebrity-wise, big names from the USA. Ah, man, it's some weird stuff going on. I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about, man. It's weird, but whatever, man. Let the Saudis do their thing. You know, let me read this real fast. Boba says, how about the Bivol rematch? Oh, we'll get to that. He says, me Turkish, Ahmed. Shout out to Ahmed Roblox. So Boba says, what about the Bivol rematch? So what does Bivol have right now? Remind me, Boba. Does Bivol have he has what? How many strips does he have at 175? Man, I haven't even followed who has the belts, to be honest. But let's assume Bivol has at least 2 belts, right? Or 3. That's good. Actually, Bobas just brought up another one, too, because I thought about that for a second. What if when Turkey meant we have another title fight and a lot of fans are gravitating at 168, what if Bivol is finally acknowledging the rematch for Canelo at 175, right? Because Canelo wanted the rematch at 175, but Bivol said, no, I want at 168. But let's say at this juncture, because Bivol wants to see good money again. Bivol is also thirsty, man. Bivol wants a big bag again. Bivol went through his stuff, right? What if Bivol says, damn, you know what? Now it's time to give Canelo that rematch. So that might be a mega fight, guys. It's not for Undisputed, of course, right? Because David right now has the 1 strap. That's actually a good connected dots theory, Bobas, actually. That's a good connected dots. Let's say if Canelo were to get lucky and beat Bivol in the rematch, which I think he has a good chance. Canelo always looks good in rematches. He beats Bivol. He has 3 straps. And then David Benavidez be like, you know what? I'm not really calling out Opataya that much anyways. I might as well go back down to 175 and try and make the Canelo fight. And that's good for boxing, guys. But Bobas, don't forget that David still got to beat Zurdo first. Oh, I apologize. No, I'll go back to Bobas' point. Even if Benavidez were to lose to Zurdo Ramirez, damn, that means David still got his strap at 175. So, as I always say, Opataya's in a good situation. Benavidez is in a good situation. Canelo's not retired. He's in a good situation. Right now, Canelo's like the main attraction for all this Turkey propaganda that's going on. That's weird, man. Yo, man, money's voodoo-ish, guys. Money's hardcore. Yo, Paitas keep winning, man. You guys take notes. Boba says all of them. We got this brother from Russia. He goes, Azerbaijan. Merhaba, Azerbaijani. Yeah, man, Azerbaijan, man. Really good boxers. Really good boxers. I got myself some new gloves, too. I don't know if you guys know, but my parents are visiting. And I'm trying to avoid any colds. I'm still waiting for my chest to feel correctly. Then I'm going to rock my BGV9s, man. My Fairtex. I used to have 12-ounce back in the day. They're like the best. They're the best, like, Mexican knockoff of Reyes. But they're full leather. Man, they feel great. So I'm gonna hit the bag nicely on those guys. Get back into the groove. And I got myself some shoes again. Man, I'm 100%, baby. Mentally. I want to go back to the gym ASAP. and give back and give back. And we're going to reach 1,000 soon, man. I think I'm creeping up to 1,000. Shout out to Atomico and my boy Professor. Real good people, man. They really help support. And most of the time, we don't fool around. We don't play around. As we say in Spanish, you know, el boxeo no se juega. We don't fool around, man. Even when it comes to trolling all that theory, because all that stuff becomes a bit redundant. And sorry, forgive me for saying it was a bit gay, man, but whatever. Each to their own. So, I don't know if you guys agree, man. Canelo versus Makilja for the WBC Cruiser. By the way, guys, maybe I know a lot of cats, they give me some respectful points because sometimes my prediction theory for fights to be made or matchmaking ain't that bad. It ain't too shabby, you know what I'm saying? So, I had said, and Atomico knows this, even Professor and others, my guy Carl from Australia, and some other cats too, they know that I've been wanting the Zurdo versus Benavidez fight for a long ass time. It makes sense, right? We even saw when Benavidez with Oscar. You got to think about why is Oscar in a picture with David? We're talking about like 2 years ago, this guy. And we know Oscar's probably saying, you know what, David, you know it ain't going so well on a PBC. I can maybe hook you up with this bag and this that. And David's like, you know what, damn, Oscar got a point because PBC ain't going anywhere. So that's what I thought about that. And yo, guys, I keep saying, man, David is huge, guys. That kid walks around like 220, man, 225 easily. Let's say 220 on the average. And for those that say, nah, David can't be heavyweight, guys, David Benavidez, by design, does not lift weights. David does not lift weights. If David Benavidez made it, when he hits heavyweight, guys, when he hits heavyweight, he's going to start doing mad bench presses. He's going to be like, oh, okay. Then that muscle fat's is gonna retain. That muscle's gonna retain. You're gonna see a big ass David Benavidez. You're like, damn, David was that big? You guys are gonna be shocked. His physique is big. Yeah, he looks lanky and thin now, but that's because David Benavidez is probably one of the most responsible and I want to say respectful weights in the game. Even though he lost belts on the scales, it's still hard to do what he's doing. Trust me, that kid's got an appetite. David got an appetite, man, so I ain't going to hate on it too much. I like food, too. Can you imagine David, who used to be like, what, 250, 260? That kid, he wants to eat, hombres. He wants to eat. So, yo, to at least make 168, 175, I got to give him credit, man. That poor kid, poor kid. That's why sometimes the yayo, too, it discourages from cravings. A lot of cats don't know that. When I was a youngster, too, and partying hard, yo, just drinking and yay with the ladies is more than enough. I'm not thinking of food. That's the last thing on my mind is food. Maybe that's because of the yay. I don't know. But when we're talking about blunts and we're talking about smoking, that's a different thing, man. The munchies with smoke and the yayo are two different things, guys. For those of you that know, no. So, shout out to the yay. Shout out to Joseph Parker, man. Shout out to Joe. I guess, what else, man? I'm already going to be 25 deep in this. Oh, so yeah, man, Canelo, September. Canelo's a creepy ass dude, man. I think this dude's making more money than what's being reported. All I'm going to say is, Canelo, be careful, man, because don't trust everybody. I'm talking about the financial earnings. Make sure you're doing make sure your projected taxes are going to be done correctly, because there's a lot of haters of the Saudis. And yo, I don't know the Mexican government as far as how they do their tax control, their earnings figures or whatever, but yo, just keep an eye on that, man. If you're an American, it'd be a different story because Americans got it the worst. You try and do tax evasion on American soil, man, it's more worse. It's worse, guys. So, let's see. Boba says, do you think he can go to cruiserweight and come back down to 175, no problem? You're talking about Benavidez, right? Depends right now. Here's what I think. You want my honest opinion? Here's what I think. I think, and this is a current David Benavidez that's not lifting weights, guys. He can't lift weights. You lift weights, any type of strenuous lifting of any type of sort, from the upper torso, mid torso, you're gonna get mass. You're gonna gain mass. So he doesn't do that. He's responsible in doing that at least. But the current Benavidez right now, at the very least, he's not cutting to make cruiser. You know? He's still cutting mad to make 175. And hey, you guys know, man. Now that Conte's not in the game anymore, a snack ain't the same anymore. They don't got that extra little grind to help out to make 168. So of course he had to settle for 175. you know, and Canelo's not there, so what's really the urge to be at 168? But man, I think David's got some good genetics, to be honest. You know, retaining water is different in ratio for all guys. If you're really big and lanky, it's different than a guy that's shorter but more muscular mass. So everybody's going to vary. What I'm getting at is some guys can cut 30 pounds of water easily, depending on the physique. In this case, for David, it's okay. He don't look that thick bone to me. So to answer your question, I think if David now, after this fight, he's probably not going to go to 175. It depends. If David takes too much damage in this fight, he might consider staying at cruiserweight, at least for another fight. Because, yo, I don't know, man. It all depends on Zurdo, man. Yo, Zurdo might do a beating. Zurdo has the opportunity to give a shocker, guys. Because Mexicans come to fight. I want to do a video, actually, of the training methods, because a lot of fans don't realize that, for me, the best fighting technique is like locomotive punching, or the theory of locomotion. It means to get power on your shots, you got to arc back, you know. I call it like the X factor, your shoulders, you know. And if you're a switch hitter, it even benefits you more. But what I'm getting at is sometimes to be a proper fighter and not be like robotic and perpendicular with angles, you know, like a person that's only pot shotting, that's not a lot of angle variance, man. You really can't exert your true power, your true nature of a beast. To be a true fighter, man, you got to have locomotive power, man. That means when you're coming back on your left, you're coming back on your right, it's fluid. It's fluid. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if you're like just a regular stance, or like a squared stance and just pot shotting, there's not a little angle theory in those kind of shots, man. You're like limited your punching power because you're always focused on a certain angle. That shit's limited. To be a real gritty fighter, you gotta be fluid, baby. You gotta be like you gotta be fluid. That's why I give Teofimo Lopez a good shot to the throne Shakur. It's a very good variable. It's a very good variable. If Shakur comes to fight in this fight, if he goes out of character, being too out of defensive mode, I think Lopez takes it. You know? Locomotive training. I'm going to do some videos on that. You guys are going to love it. You know who's a good example of locomotive fighting? Bivol. Dimitri Bivol. Bivol. Usually his hands are down, but when he's fighting, he knows how to swerve his arms, man. The left and the right. It don't matter if he's Orthodox or Saudi. He knows how to do locomotive punching, man. It's a good technique. It's not difficult, but you got to learn your power on both arms. Last person before that was Pacquiao. We're talking about the superstar level. You know, locomotion, baby. Let me read this more. Agony says Yarak. Yarak. I don't know what that means, Yarak. So, I don't know. Any more questions, man? We're hitting the 30-minute mark here. Getting a nice walk exercise. And it's good to get exercise too. Who should we talk about? We talked a bit about Benavidez. We talked about Zurdo. That's the May date. Oh yeah, again, guys. Let me remind you guys again. We don't know where. Even though they say Las Vegas, right? Las Vegas. All I see is some ghetto ass banners of Benavidez versus Zurdo. I don't know what the holdup is. That should already be official, and it's not on BoxRec. It could be, guys, that maybe they're waiting to promote the fight, because once you make the fight official and they both sign, that's when testing starts, guys. That could be the case. You know what I'm saying? Damn, some honeys walking around. Some chicas. You guys like redheads? Young redheads, man. Hells yeah. He says Cruz versus Murataya. Yeah, I think I've already picked Murataya. I don't know. For me, I don't see Cruz. I mean, yeah, Cruz did what? He beat Keyshawn Davis, or Shakur in the Olympics, right? If I'm not mistaken, or in the AMs. But again, the pro game is different, guys. Different circumstances, different type of fighting, you know. Again, guys, locomotive fighting, you don't care about points, man. You want to just hurt the dude. I got to do a video on that, man. It's hard to illustrate or explain, but You need to do repetitive punching, man. You know, use your shoulder strength, man. Use your back strength. Left, right, dang, 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 dang. Locomotive punching, man. I mean, Lopez don't do that. If anything, Murataya could do that. That's why I like gritty fighters, guys. That's why I'm biased to fighters more than defensive fighters, because for me, ironically, true grit fighters like Dalton Smith, man. Dalton Smith, he's a fighter, man. You rely on your power, man. You rely on your power. I'm talking about like combinations. And the funny thing is that, what's his name? Subaro Matias. He's a go fighter. I like him too. When he wants to grind, he can fight too. But he just took too much damage and poor high guard defense in this fight. His wrong strategy. And Dalton Smith took advantage of that, man. He exploited that. And, you know, you're taking too much firepower. That's what we got. But again, Dalton Smith, gritty fighter, man. Locomotive power, baby. I didn't even know where I was getting. Oh, yeah, Murataya. So Murataya, I'm picking Murataya on a split decision. I'm picking Murataya by split decision, and I hope it's not a draw. But if it's a great fight, and both guys give it all, then I got to respect the draw. But I'm going with Murataya on this one. I'm going for the more gritty fighter, and also the knockout ratio. He's like, what, double of that of Andy Cruz. What else, guys? What else? What else is in the news? Oh, yeah, shout out to Tank Davis. I think maybe I got the picture of Tank Davis, right, in Canelo or something like that. Poor Tank Davis being hunted by the police or the U.S. Marshals or whatever. When it gets to the federal level, that stuff gets ugly. I don't know who's gonna help Tank Davis hereafter, but poor kid, man. I keep telling, man, it's like, yo, I wish I was an advisor in the game and I had some cash, man. I would make sure that these fighters they keep their head level straight and still get that 10% bag, right? That's what Heyman or whoever was handling Tank Davis, they could have made some extra money on the kid. But yo, you got to restrict the kid's activities. If there's theory that Heyman and those they gave their fighters stipends here and there, that level of control, they could have done that with Tank. And some fans know me, in my opinions, that I think it was probably more Mayweather's to blame for Tank Davis. And maybe some of you are saying, nah, what are you talking about, Angel? Why are you giving Tank Davis an excuse? In the past, it's all on that kid. Yeah, that's possible. But for me, again, every interview that Tank Davis has done has been good. He seems like a good guy. What they do outside the ring, I don't care, because nobody's perfect. I'm sure you guys have had dramas with girls too. And as I said, sometimes you got to restrain a chick. It just happens, guys. It happens. So that stuff is soft. I don't care what goes out. That stuff is soft. And unfortunately, if it gets on camera, then it amplifies the theme even more, right? It's stupid. But anyways, hopefully Tank can get some salvation, man. They need to help that kid out, but if not, whatever. What else? Who else is next? What else? Oh, yeah. Tim Tszyu versus Velasquez, right? I like that fight, man. That was a good fight. I think Tim Tszyu, if he does one more fight like that, he'll restart properly. I don't know if Pedro Diaz is going to do that much good for Tim Tszyu, but he's on a good start. I know I also like Nikita Tszyu, but the Zarafa fight, even though that was a flop, that doesn't tell me much about Nikita. Because that fight aesthetically didn't even look that good. It's the first 2 rounds or whatever. So that was that. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna close it out, man. Thanks for tuning in, man. I'm more like 35 minutes deep in this. Anyways, man, you guys take care. Stay warm, man. Stay healthy, man. Watch them lungs. I'll catch you guys on the next one for Al Cuerpo Boxing to the Body. Peace out, y'all.